People throughout history, no matter the state of technology, have always had self-doubt. As I prepared for this talk, I asked myself, is this even interesting? What are you even trying to say? And the doubt doesn't end there. Wouldn't that be nice? There are people who work so hard for their accomplishments, but feel like they don't deserve them. This is imposter syndrome, which is defined by the National Library of Medicine as self-doubt of intellect, skills, or accomplishments among high-achieving individuals. So I want to pose two questions for you to think on today. What happens if we all become imposters? And what happens when someone who's faking everything can have more success than someone doing all of the work on their own? Did my headshot for this talk turn out great? Can we get a round of applause for that? Thank you. But it's not real. In the eloquently written summary of my speech, ChatGPT started it for me. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking. Shane, did you even write this talk? I'm starting off on a basis of skepticism because I want you to question everything that I say today. Not only is that how we should be about everything we see and hear now, but it's how we will need to be in the near future. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt and form your own opinions. After all I drink is LaCroix, I eat Chick-fil-A about 5 times a week, and I cook frozen pizzas at 8 a.m. But I hope I'm not creating too much insecurity in the room, because there's already enough insecurity building in regards to artificial intelligence. Can we trust the news that we're receiving? Can we trust that students are learning? And can we even trust a phone call with a loved one? This insecurity is especially evident in the United States, where 65% of people polled expressed a belief that AI has more drawbacks than benefits. Okay, so a lot of people can see how artificial intelligence could be dangerous. With TV shows like Black Mirror, movies like The Terminator, and other popular media imagining dystopian futures where technology goes wrong, it makes sense why we have a negative view of AI as a tool. However, tools have always been inherently dangerous. Oh man. Take a hammer, for example. Its purpose is driving nails into different mediums. But what happens when you miss the nail and hit your neighbor on the head for not inviting you to that cookout last weekend? Tape measures? Have you felt how sharp these things are? And don't even get me started on calculators. 5317, 7735. If you can't read it, that spells sell lies. Stanford University's 2023 Artificial Intelligence Index report states that current AI models are prone to hallucinations and routinely biased. Pair that with the fact that industry is now the leading competitor in AI development, knocking academia out of the running due to rising costs, and you have corporations rushing to profit off of these models, which currently often give false information with complete confidence. So today, I want to talk to you about generative AI in specific. The University of Michigan defines generative AI, or Gen AI, as a type of artificial intelligence model or tool which, when given a prompt or query, is capable of generating new and creative outputs in a variety of media. Many Gen AI models are trained on an unfathomable amount of data, collected by a crawler, which scours the web. The user then inputs a prompt into these models, which spits out what is essentially an average of all of its data, resembling what you've asked for. A generative AI system is one that learns to generate more objects that look like the data it was trained on. In cases of image generation, the data these models are trained on are taken from artists without their permission who make a living off of their work. The company then sells a subscription to use these tools with no royalties going to the artists whose work trained these tools. To use an analogy, A model like this essentially takes all the chili at the state fair, mixes it into one huge bowl, and says, "I win. Sorry to everyone who actually cooked the chili." And then, eventually, no one's coming back to the state fair because you can't win. And actually, this isn't just an analogy. In 2022, an AI image generated by the software Midjourney won a first-place prize for digital arts at the Colorado State Fair. And that's the exact image that you've been looking at. So you all as students are in the process of becoming your best selves for when you go out into the professional world. However, in the ever-changing digital space, I want to make the case that being your real self is going to be far more important than being your best self. So I want to show you a few useful tools that you have available to you, and I want you to ask yourselves, do I feel good about this? The first tool has been gaining traction impressively fast: AI-generated headshots. Gone are the days of having to book a photographer, go out to a studio, and even put in the effort to look good for any of that. Simply upload a minimum of 6 photos of your face with different expressions from different angles, and you will receive a possibly unlimited number of new professional headshots. Now, I put the emphasis on new because, like I mentioned earlier, the output is essentially just an average of what you input. To put this in terms of the job market, a headshot is the first thing that recruiters see when searching on LinkedIn, so you want to put your best face forward. Getting a real headshot allows your personality to shine through, giving acquaintances confidence that you are who you say you are, and giving yourself confidence in your true image instead of an idealized version of yourself. Now, ChatGPT is another one of the most popular AI tools currently available. Simply provide the model with a text prompt describing exactly what you want, and you will receive anything from a cover letter to an essay. In the environment of higher education, professors have had to adapt quickly to combat cheating using this tool. One of the suggestions from the University of Iowa is incorporating a metacognitive component where students describe their process and what they learned from it. Metacognition, according to Queen's University, is the process of thinking of one's own thinking and learning. Arguably, the most beneficial part of writing an essay is learning how to plan and research your topic. The metacognitive approach would ensure that students still build confidence in their reasoning. So how about using ChatGPT to write a cover letter for your job application? Everyone writes cover letters, right? Well, Arcadia University surveyed 200 hiring decision makers, and they found that cover letter optional applications only receive cover letters from 35% of applicants. Okay, makes sense. It's optional, right? Well, they found that cover letter required applications only received cover letters from 38% of applicants. Not only that, 77% of recruiters give preference to candidates who submit a cover letter, even if it's optional. 36% of decision makers will read the cover letter before the resume. And only 13% of recruiters will even process an application with no cover letter. So what should the 60+% of people who opt not to include a cover letter do? Just use ChatGPT, right? Well, recruiters expressed that AI-generated cover letters lacked certain details and personalization, and some recruiters said that they can often tell when a cover letter appears to be written by an AI tool. Widespread use of ChatGPT with cover letters could result in lower confidence of the job application process as a whole. And it gives us yet another opportunity to feel like we don't deserve the accomplishment of landing the job. All right, so now you know some of the tools that are currently available to you. But how is AI being used by others right now? Take a look at this image. The title claims it to be from a Black Lives Matter protest, but it's not real. I found it on Adobe Stock, and it's categorized as an AI-generated image. So, is this a lie? Something false posing as something real? Next, take a look at these images. I found them on a Facebook page that posts misleading Gen AI images. Just one of these Facebook pages had 140,000 followers. I looked at the comments, and it's all positive. People right now are spending their time scrolling on social media, giving affirmation to people who do not even exist. Yet we often don't even think about how we can affirm someone who we are face to face with. People are spreading positivity into the void, and yet we live in a world where we often can't even look our classmates, our neighbors, or even our family in the eyes because we don't share the same beliefs. It's time to start a conversation about how we can build each other up day to day, face to face, because those are the interactions we can have the most confidence in. All right, I talked about a lot. We discussed image generation with AI headshots, fake protest images, and fake Facebook pages. And we talked about cheating and cover letters using ChatGPT. Do we really want to build these barriers between ourselves and our self-confidence? Do we want to question whether we're deserving of our achievements? And do we want to feel like a real picture of ourselves just isn't good enough? Being comfortable with your real self, your ideas, and your abilities is being confident in yourself. In that case, we should be careful with how we use these tools. We should ask ourselves if we will question whether we were ever good enough at these skills in the first place. Because we can't be confident in anything. We will never know what's real or fake if we can't be confident in ourselves first. Thank you.